Kuns en Vermaak, Marianah Lourens here. Marianah Lourens with Art and Entertainment, and we are once again down in the green room where we've been so many times, but it looks lovely down here because of stuff that happens here at the Little Theatre all the time in the Athenaeum. I always say the Little Theatre in the Athenaeum, so people know where the Little Theatre is. Mostly if you say the Little Theatre, they don't know where the Athenaeum is, I think. But I've got Derrick with me. I think I'll mention him first because it was quite exciting for me to find out about your national Dixon endorsement. Derrick Badenhorst.
Yes.
From DDrums.
Yes, that's my drumming academy's name, DDrums.
And we're going to find out about the Dixon thing just now because we also have Asemahle Sabani, and we met at Women in Arts Manjano Festival earlier this year, and it was so wonderful because she had her first exhibition.
Yes, it was my first solo exhibition.
So tell us more about how it got to them, because Manjano Festival was amazing. We saw lots of shows, live plays and events, and had some pep talks.
And I met a lot of amazing people there as well. The festival opened so much doors for me. I was able to be seen for my craft. It was an amazing experience. So how I got in touch with them, I saw a post on Facebook about the festival because I didn't know anything about the Manjano arts until I saw that post. So I was like, let me try and get in touch with them and see if they'll like what I have to offer. And after a few months, they contacted me again saying that I was selected to be part of their festival. And that's how I got in.
Okay, because that is also an event that the Mandela Bay Theatre Complex offers, which I always say the Opera House in the Mandela Bay Theatre Complex, because they changed that whole name of that big building that's the Opera House to all of us. They changed the name to Mandela Bay Theatre Complex. But of course this year the Opera House was a little bit under construction at that time of the festival, and they were doing all sorts of things, so they had it at other venues. So there was some at the Mendy Arts Centre where we saw great shows. And then, of course, your art was displayed at
68
Cape Road. Yeah, 68 Cape Road. And that's where the admin offices are. And the school is there. Auntie Marlene Petersen, she has her school stage world there. So lots go on in that little building, number 68 as well. And, of course, we saw your art. Now, let's just get to you first, Derrick, before we go further with Asemahle. When I saw how you were standing so proudly with that, is it a certificate you get, or is it what do you get? Because it looked like almost like an award, National Dixon endorsement, because you now one of four. There were three.
Yes.
Now you're four.
Yes. It's a company in Taiwan. Now I'm going to be representing the brand Dixon Drums. Obviously, the South African division of that, but yes, it's Dixon Drums SA. And I want to give a shout out to Renee Barton from Holland. How's it?
Yes, we'll get her to listen, and we'll make sure that she gets the
It's
clip.
actually a guy.
Oh, it's a him.
Yeah.
Okay, because Dutch names sometimes are typically English names to us, female names to us in English, Renee, or in Afrikaans.
Yeah.
And then you go into Holland and it's actually a man. It's like in France, Michel is a man's name. And here we would never, ever.
No, look, I mean, this is a great opportunity for me. I've been loving the brand for many years. Like I said, they're from Taiwan. They make beautiful drums, and currently the big spokesperson is Greg Bissonette. Now, Greg Bissonette plays for Ringo Starr of the Beatles, and they are busy doing like a tour with the Ringo All-Star Band with Steve Lukather from Toto. So there's big names. It's a big deal.
I think it's not big names, Derrick. It's huge names, enormous names. Because if you say Ringo Starr to a person like me, a granny, then my mind goes back to when the Beatles were young, and now we're all old, but Ringo's still going.
Yeah, at 83.
It's 83 is amazing.
Like I said, the brand is a beautiful brand. It's a wonderful company. It's like a family as well. They haven't been well known as such amongst the other brands out there because they have been actually supplying and manufacturing parts for other companies, and they decided to go on their own as well.
And making whole drum sets.
Whole drum sets, a lot of other things that they make for this industry of ours.
Bands all have drums. Even an orchestra have drums.
Yeah.
It's like a techie. If you don't have drums, you don't have a band.
Yeah.
If you don't have a
Yeah.
techie, you don't have a band or a show.
No, they
in
make
fact.
all those parts,
Yes.
everything, you know. So,
Yeah.
but it's a great opportunity for me to also launch the brand further and extend the brand further. The drummer of Wonderboom, he's one of the guys that's being endorsed by Dixon.
Wonderboom.
Yeah, the band Wonderboom.
Well, there's a band, Wonderboom. Are they a South African band?
Yes.
And are they in Wonderboom in Pretoria? Because that's what Wonderboom means to me.
Yeah.
But they're in South Africa.
South African,
Yeah.
South African band.
As I say, that there are only 4 of you
Yeah.
in South Africa.
Mm.
And to be connected with Ringo's name and Toto
Well.
and all that.
I'm not really connected to
No,
Ringo,
the whole
but
thing is to share
But it's-
an instrument
yes.
brand.
Yes. No, it's the brand. It's a wonderful brand. And I'm very honored, very, very honored to say the least, to be representing that brand from now on until hopefully forever.
I think that the thing that spoke to me, that it's just, I thought, oh, look at Derrick. And of course, Asemahle. Now, your art, I was telling Derrick, you use bold color.
Yes.
So tell us more about that, because some people's art is more demure,
Yeah.
and more kind of closer to nature, but your colors are just, it's also nature because you do that.
Yes, I started with landscaping when I was introducing myself into the painting. After that, I think that's where I draw most of my colors from, landscape. So when I did portraits and other types of art, I kind of like adapted the colors I used for landscaping and introduced them into the portraits and all of that. My kind of style right now tells a story of where I came from. Like when I was little, I grew up in a very poverty-like state. So I used to see a lot of suffering there. So my art tells stories of that. To make it a less depressing, I kind of like take colors that are fun and tell the story that way so that it cannot be depressing to the person looking at the work, because of the message is very heavy.
So incorporating the bright colors just lifts the spirit and saying that where you've come from. Now, you didn't just get out of bed one day when you were like 3 years old or something and say, I want to become an artist using bold colors. Where did it begin for Asemahle Sabani?
I think I've always known that I'll be in the art industry, but not as a painter or a grower. I thought I'll be a singer because I do have a voice, Marianah, and I've always loved music, so I thought I'll be on that side of art. But there has been this thing telling me, but try to paint. But because we didn't have anything artistic at school, I was like, "Ay, money, it's for other people, not me." Because of a lockdown, we were all isolated and we had to face ourselves and like dig deep within and find something that will keep us sane. So that's how I challenged myself, because I was home doing nothing. I was like, let me try this, because been this thing telling me, but just try. So that's how I bought a cheap set of rice and a few paints, and I mixed and did a landscape.
Yes, because you use different brushes. I discovered that in art. I discovered they've got this little tiny thing that looks like it's got one hair, and then they've got broad brushes as well.
Well, I use a lot of brushes, and when I introduced myself, because I didn't have any knowledge about what it is to be a painter, I even used cards, like my ID card, just to get a stroke, to get something moving, to just get something on paper and actually see what can come out.
And a lot came out.
A lot came out.
But now, can we just deviate a moment to your singing? Have you sung with groups or people?
No, I used
to
sing at church.
Aha, there it comes. I always say almost every person who sings, I ask them, where did it begin? And they say, oh, my mom or my grandma or my parents, they dragged me to the church choir.
That's how I knew I had a voice, because of church. And my mom loves to sing. She has a very beautiful voice. So we used to every night gather together and just sing whatever church songs and all of that. So that's how I loved music. And then my sister introduced me to jazz. So I fell in love with jazz. So if I do like sing someday, I think I'll be in jazz.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also like jazz. And of course, jazz is something that you can kind of tone down or hype up. Derrick is nodding because he's also, of course, you often have drums with jazz.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's so therapeutic, I think, that one can apply every art there is.
Yeah.
The visual art. First of all, you are creating it with your brushes or whatever you use. People use all sorts of things almost these days.
Yeah.
And then you being actually ministered to and being healed from something if you are just doing the art. And then the one who observes the art and looks at it later is being spoken to, and it's therapeutic. And the same with the music, Derrick. I think the drums, of course, play such a big part because the drums can also be soothing and soft, and then it can be loud.
Very loud, yes. Can bring a lot of emotions out.
A lot of emotion, yes.
And that's what I teach at my school as well, where I say to the students, they don't just hit objects, they don't just hit drums. They play the music, they make the music, but they really appreciate their instruments. And that's also another thing as well with Dixon drums. There's a lot of craftsmanship going into these drums, a lot of love and time. So at the end of the day, you've got to respect the craftsmen that actually made the drums to bring out beautiful sounds.
Because to me, it's the therapeutic quality of the arts. Performing or visual, creative, it's huge. I always put a lot of emphasis on it. And I'm just thinking, that guy who's making the drum, who's manufacturing the trumpet, who's even making the brush, who's creating the material for the canvas. And of course, the arts are so wide. Some people can't sing, but they can act. Others say, I don't have a voice, but can they dance? And then you've got your instruments. The one whose parents wanted him to play the violin. And the violin, it was such a schlep getting him or her to the lessons. And then they actually found out they are a wizard on a guitar. And I would imagine with drums it could be like that.
Yeah, well, with my students, most of them, they don't just play one instrument. Most of my students do play like a second or even a third instrument, whether it's a physical instrument or, if I say physical, like a guitar or a piano, or singing as well. At the end of the day, I teach my students not just how to be a drummer as such. I teach them how to be a good musician. That's the big picture here. Being a musician, it's a team effort. It's not just a singular person that forms a band. There's no I in band.
Exactly.
You might have a good creator, a creative mind, but at the end of the day, it's all about team effort.
And how did I get hold of you, Derrick? Because you've got an academy, you teach.
Yes, I've got my academy is called DDrums Drumming Academy. I can give you the cell number if you want me to.
Well, the thing is, the easy way that everybody do, like I know on Facebook, they can go to DDrums, and that's where all the grannies go. We go to Facebook. But
apparently all the older generation, they go on Facebook.
Other things, are you on
Instagram,
yeah.
YouTube, I'm on YouTube as well. Yeah.
YouTube and all those things. So it's DDrums.
DDrums Drumming Academy.
Derrick Badenhorst. You can also find on Facebook, and that's Derrick. Because Derrick is also spelled all different ways. But this is Derrick, and it's Badenhorst, but it's DDrums. If you actually type in DDrums, then you find him.
Yeah.
I think wherever you go, if you put in DDrums.
Yeah, I've got a huge presence on social media. I'm trying to be as active as possible.
Yes.
Because at the moment, back in the day, when people wanted to find out who's playing at XYZ venue, it was different. Now, it's social media, it's all the way. So you've got to have a social media presence,
and that's where they find you. And of course, obviously, December is going to be quite busy for you.
Correct, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they can find...
I've got a show coming up with my students at Legal Music. So there's going to be 50 odd plus students that's going to be performing and a few surprises, but that I cannot say.
You can't really let the cat out of the bag. They're going to have to go there, be there, and watch the
concert.
Space for the concert details. And of course, Lee Gold and you have been done lots of stuff together.
Yes, it's at the new shop. Brand new big shop.
Big shop.
Yeah.
Okay. And how is Leon? Because Leon is his son.
My son, yes. No, he's working for
He's a drummer too.
Yes, my son Leon, he's working for a company called Line Out Audio, or Line Out Productions, actually. Shout out to Ronnie and Roslyn van Jaarsveld.
He's learning his skill.
Yes, he's learning a lot. He's learning a lot from them. He's doing his internship with them and
because he's
working very hard.
He likes being a techie.
He's a bit of a jack of all trades.
Yeah. I know, I discovered that.
Yeah.
That he can even do the techie stuff apart from his music
Correct,
and his drumming and so on.
Yes.
So give him my love, please.
I will.
And Asemahle, I know they can find you on Facebook.
Yes, as Asemahle Sabani.
Yes, and that is Asemahle.
Yes.
And it's Sabani, as you say, Sabani.
Yes.
Can't go wrong. If you type
You can't.
Asemahle
Sabani, you get me.
Are you also on Instagram?
Yes, I'm also on Instagram as Asemahle Sabani. Yes.
So simple as that. And she's just all for the arts, all for her painting, but also watch the space. Perhaps you'll catch her on a jazz stage.
Yes, very soon, I'm sure.
Yes, and we'll be just wishing everyone a wonderful festive season over December and blessed Christmas time. I thank you both for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so very, very much for keeping up the arts, keeping the arts going, and for helping others heal. And in the process, of course, we're all being healed ourselves. Yes. Just sitting here talking about the arts,
Definitely.
I mean, is like a therapeutic thing. So thank you so much. Until next time, and watch this space.
Yes.
Asemahle Sabani and Derrick Badenhorst, DDrums. Time for me to say goodbye with art and entertainment. Yes, Marianah Lourens wat nou goed met Kuns en Vermaak. Arrivari!